Hello and welcome to this session in which we will discuss the profile when it comes to the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. In the prior 6 sessions, we looked at the core functions of the cybersecurity framework. We looked at the govern and we looked at its categories: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. At this point, we know the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, and we assume companies know about this framework. Why? Because it's a framework that's going to allow them to do what? To have better cybersecurity posture. So what they do is they would want to create a target profile. What's a target profile? It's how they would like to be according to the core function provided by the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. So how do you do that? Well, you would say, okay, right now, you know where you stand right now. You would say, right now, I am going to map my current profile to what I have in the core function. For example, you would look at your current profile and say, well, in the govern, I have 1 or 2 categories. In the identify, I don't have anything. In protect, I have 1 category, so on and so forth. Then they would say, this is where I stand now. This is my current profile. Then you would say, okay, now I want to have a target profile. I'm here now, but let me see what I want to have in the govern. What do I want to have in identified? Protect. Now I know the best practices: detect, respond, and recover. Well, if I know my current position and I know what I want to be, what I'm going to have to do is gap analysis to go from the current profile to the target profile. So in this session, we will explain what does it mean, what's the current profile, what's the target profile, and the process that takes the company from the current to the target profile. And the profile is the second major component of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. What was the first component? The core function. And the last component will be the 4 tiers, which we will discuss in a separate recording, most likely next. So let's go ahead and dive into the profile of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com.
Hello everyone, my name is Farhat. If you are watching this, you are probably studying for the Information Systems and Controls CPA Exam disciplines. That means you are already serious about your future. And I want to help you go even further. At Farhat Lectures, you will get in-depth video explanation for all topics, clear and organized notes accompanying the lectures, thousands of MCQs with AI-powered explanation and assistant, all previously released AI CPA, MCQs, and simulation in a video format explanation, and last but not least, our personal guidance and support. My guidance and support, as well as the support of the Farhat team. Go ahead, visit Farhat Lectures and start your free trial. You have 2 days. Take your preparation to the next level, so you are not just studying alone. We are here to assist you. If you are ready to pass, visit the website, and I hope to see you on the website.
So the first thing the company would do, they would want to create a baseline or a current profile. And what's the current profile? Well, they would look at their cybersecurity outcome. For example, in this situation, we're going to be working with a company called Secure Bank throughout this example. So we have this bank here, and they would look at what are they currently achieving in cybersecurity, or they want to achieve based on their existing cybersecurity practices and control. Essentially, they want to do what? Create a baseline or a snapshot of where they stand right now. For example, they would look at their information and say, currently, clearly document current cybersecurity capability, resources, and practices. This is what we have currently. Reflect the secure bank strength, such as robust encryption method and access management policies. This is what we have. And what we do is we highlight the current weaknesses and areas that need improvement, such as real-time threat detection capabilities or employee training effectiveness. So notice what happened here. They show you what they have and what they don't have. Include compliance status with regulatory requirement, such as the PCI DSS, which is the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. So what they want to see is where do we stand now, and what are our weaknesses? Then the next thing they would look at is where do we want to be? What's our target profile? The target profile describes the ideal cybersecurity outcome that the bank aims to achieve in the future. Based on what? Based on the core functions of the NIST Cybersecurity Program. This profile will consider anticipated changes, future threat, technological advancement, strategic cybersecurity priorities. For example, the characteristic for secure target bank, well, clearly defined cybersecurity goals aligned with strategic business objectives. This is where we want to be. Versus basically right now where we are, clearly document current cybersecurity capabilities, resource, and capabilities. Now what we want to do, we want to align them with our strategic business objective. Improve cybersecurity practices identified through gap analysis against the current profile. We want to do some improvement against what we have right now. Anticipation of evolving cyber threat, regulatory requirement, and technological development. Now we want to anticipate any changes. So, for example, the target profile aims for a comprehensive real-time detection threat system through advanced security information and event management system, regular cybersecurity training because they are lacking to achieve higher awareness rate among employee, and they want full compliance with the PCI DSS. How did they come up to this? Based on their current position, including the weaknesses and what they are missing. Now the question is, how do they go from the current to the target? There's a 5-step process. We'll outline the steps step by step. The first thing they have to do is they have to look at the scope of the organizational profile. What do we want to cover? What areas we want to cover? What cybersecurity area we want to have? For example, any online banking system and customer portal. This is part of our scope. Any investment transaction platform. Anytime we have a transaction, for example, on the network, that's covered in our cybersecurity. Internal network, data servers, cloud systems, employee workstation. Those are all within the scope of what we need to cover. Employee identity and access management procedures. So now, for example, just to tell you about when we say about the scope, they might say intentionally, for example, the physical security access, that's not part of the cybersecurity. They could say that. That's managed separately by the facility management. They could say that, or they could include it with the cybersecurity profile. But what I'm trying to say, the first thing you do is the scope of the organization profile. What do we want to cover as part of our cybersecurity system? Then the next step, remember there are 5 steps, the next step is to gather information needed to prepare the organizational file. Next, Secure Bank will collect data cybersecurity information to prepare a comprehensive profile. Well, like what? Current cybersecurity policies and procedure, and incident response plan, and what is our current compliance with the PCI DSS, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. We will list our inventory, complete listing of the IT infrastructure, workstations, network devices, customer-facing servers, all the assets that we have, cloud services, mobile devices. We would look at historical incident data because we're gathering information, logs, and report from previous security incidents and breach attempt because we want to establish a baseline here. Personnel information, records of employee cybersecurity training, what's their capabilities, the role, the access that they have, and their responsibilities. Network and system architect diagram, visual representation of how the data flows, firewall configuration, VPN connection, and cloud integration. Look, we're looking at everything. Then once we collect all this information, we create a profile. Using the collected data, we document our current cybersecurity posture thoroughly, and we identify the strength. We have, for example, a robust encryption for customer data during transaction. Great. We have effective employee authentication and role-based access control. Great. Let's look at the weaknesses. We identified inadequate real-time threat detection and incident response capability. We don't have that. We have limited awareness and training for employee regarding phishing and social engineering attacks, something to work on. How about our compliance status? We have strong adherence to regulatory compliance, but partial gaps identified in the full PCI DSS standard for payment system. So what we're saying is, when it comes to one privacy standard, we are good with the GBLA. which is a banking regulation, stands for Graham-Lee-Blaley Act. Just so for this they are good, but they have partial gap when it comes to PCI DSS. So they are identifying. So secure bank formally document these strengths, weaknesses, and compliance detail in their current organizational profile. Remember, we have a current one, and we want to get to the next one. The next one is the target. So we analyze the gap between the current and the target profile, and we create an action plan. We want to go from the current to the target, and we have to jump and fill in that gap. So what do? Well, limited real-time monitoring and threat detection. This is a gap. What do? Action plan. We're going to implement security information and event management system to deal with limited real-time monitoring, to proactive monitor and incident respond. Gap 2. We don't have enough training for our employees regarding cybersecurity threat. What's the action plan? Conduct training quarterly, cybersecurity training, simulations, and awareness program focusing on phishing, ransomware, and social engineering. And what was the third weakness? PCI DSS. We have a partial compliance. Guess what? We need a plan to improve payment processing security protocol and conduct compliance audit, engage external cybersecurity auditor to validate and certify compliance. So what we did here, Secure Bank prioritized these actions according to potential business impact and regulatory importance. So now we know what we need to do to go from the current to the ideal target profile. Then what do we do next? You guessed it. We're going to implement the action plan and update the organizational profile. We're going to put our cybersecurity improvement, what we talked about, into action, into practice. We're going to deploy a SIM system enabling real-time monitoring, because this is one of the weaknesses, and quicker incidents respond. We are going to initiate regular employee training sessions and simulated phishing exercises. Notice we're just going step by step. We're going to update the payment transaction security measure and passes an external PCI DSS compliance audit. So as Secure Bank complete this improvement, it can continuously update its organizational profile until we get to the, you guessed it, the targeted profile. So this is what they will do, and we are at the target profile. So in this session, we looked at how do they capture information about the current profile. Again, they can reference the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. They would say, okay, this is where we stand now. But based on the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, our ideal position should be this. Let's identify our strength. Let's identify our weaknesses, and we want to bridge the gap. We want to remove those weaknesses. We want to make them strength, so we will get to our target profile and keep on improving. In discussing improvement, the best way to improve in your knowledge for the CPA exam is to work multiple choice questions. So let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. Secure Bank is preparing its organizational cybersecurity profile. Great. Which of the following best describe the intended use of the current and target profile as per the NIST Cybersecurity Framework? Okay. So when we look at the current and the target, what's the intent? What's the intended use of that? Is it documentation only for regulatory reporting? Well, regulatory reporting is external. Are we creating a current and target profile for external reporting? No, it's not for external. It's not for external reporting. Is it tools for continuous assessment and improvement? Is this why you have a current and target profile? Yes, you want to see where you stand and how can you improve. I would say B is better than A, but I'm going to hold on B. Temporary records for internal reference only. Why is it temporary? Temporary means we're going to get rid of it. Discard it, delete it, get rid of it. No, we don't. There's no such thing. Why would it be temporary to have a current and target profile? Checklist for external auditor? No, we don't. We may or may not give this information to the external auditor depending on if they need it or not. But that's not why we create a current and a target profile, because we want to continue increasing our cybersecurity posture, assess it, improve it for the better. Therefore, the answer is B. What should you do now? You want to go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional resources, multiple choice, true, false, AI CPA questions previously released, video solution for those, video solution for simulations. The best investment you can make is invest in yourself. Good luck, study hard, and of course, stay safe.